All right, so we're just going to get into it. We don't need to roll intros. He does that all in post anymore. So it's episode, what is it, 37? 37, episode 37, Finding Your Place. I got Jody Pyles back in, back in the studio. Man, I appreciate you being here. I feel like our relationship, has gotten pretty deep. I consider you a friend. I appreciate you. And, man, I'm just interested in bringing you back here, just talking about life. I think we have a lot of similarities going on. We're single men in this community. We can talk about being a single man in this community, like what your perspective of it is, what my perspective of it is. Like, I don't know, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. There's a lot of similarities. You got businesses here, you've done business here, you're a part of the community. In our last episode, we talked about your political aspirations, going through that, what happened with that. And, not really going to go back into that, then go watch that one if they want to know more about it. But, just wanting to check in with you pretty much, and just see how you're doing, what you're up to, anything interesting going on. So, no real plan, just really kind of just kicking it with a buddy pretty much. So,
I feel like we need some nachos. Yeah. But, how controversial do you want to get?
I can go as deep as you want to go, man. Like I'll talk about, really, we just need to be open and honest and,
right.
And, whatever we think, whatever we do say, if we have to like cut that out, but pretty much it's just like me and you right now.
No, really, I've kind of kept my head down probably since I was in here, November, August, September, October, sometime in there.
Yeah.
It was in the fall or whatever. Ever since then, I've really just tried to keep my head down.
Yeah.
Not kind of focus on just what I got to do to get by, survive. Told you I was looking at pop and smoke and leaving the area. I'm still sort of in the area.
Yeah. Have you actually sold the house?
I have not sold the house.
Okay.
So the house is still there. But apparently a lot of people are doing kind of what my mindset is on doing, going debt free and doing the RV thing. And you got to grin.
Camper down by the river.
Hey. Well, it's better than a van full of candy down by the middle school, right? But yeah, camper by the river. I didn't realize how hard that was actually to do, to be, simple. But that's kind of where I'm going. Not necessarily by the river, but I've looked in about 4 different states at various campgrounds to put. I went and bought a big 40-foot toy hauler, 5th wheel RV. Right, this huge. I like it. It's nicer than my house was, and it's something cool. I can pull my motorcycle up into it. Well, up until I wrecked my motorcycle Saturday.
Oh man,
yeah, I laid it down. First time. They say it's not a matter of.
Where were you at doing that?
On Route 11, right there at the racetrack.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know. My handlebars, it's got 4 bolts that go into the forks there. 2 of them just, so I couldn't turn.
Oh my gosh.
Bike just goes. But
man,
anyway,
you're lucky. Geez.
The good Lord had his hand on me on that one, but for sure. But so that's been going on. So really been focusing on work, just trying to make as much money as I can and put it back for whatever the next chapter is. I've been kind of watching. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and trying to. I've gotten rid of all news outlets.
Yeah.
Not even Fox News anymore, man.
Yeah.
I subscribe to Fox Nation, so I listen to some Tucker Carlson and stuff like that. So I handpick the stuff that I'm ingesting these days.
Yeah.
I've been on a information diet.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
Yeah. Getting rid of all the fats.
I don't know that I can't, unless I'm a part of the local news, I can't even watch the local news.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, it's just like I guess the weather's pretty accurate, but like everything else, I just can no.
I don't trust that either.
Right.
If it's not an app, you got to buy it up on your phone. I probably don't watch it. But yeah, I've just been kind of keeping my head down, focusing on that stuff. Like I said, some podcasts I'll kind of listen to every once in a while, keeping up with world events, not so much local stuff, but what's going on in Ukraine and Russia and China and Taiwan and all that stuff to kind of see, because that's all playing on our economy.
Yeah. You think these food shortages is really going to hit us? Like the United States is going to be like not having the things that we need
All right, you want your viewers to put the tinfoil hat on now as I start talking?
Yes, let's go.
All right, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole. Yes, I do. I definitely think we're gonna see some major shortages. And I've been saying this stuff actually for a while, like the shortages that we've seen in other countries. I've traveled all over the world, right?
Yeah.
And the things you see in other places, people think, oh man, we got it bad. We don't have it bad here, you know? And things really aren't going to change, and you're not going to see people stop and start shifting their life to prepare for stuff until it starts affecting their new iPhone purchase or their Starbucks. Right. When people get rid of their spoiled lifestyles, then you're going to start seeing, but all that stuff I think is coming. I think we're definitely going to see food shortages. Obviously we're going to see fuel shortages. I watched a thing with the CEO of Pilot, which Pilot apparently is the largest. It's Pilot Flying J.
Yeah.
Owns the largest group of like travel centers or whatever across the country.
So retail gas stations.
Right. And they're the largest purchaser of fuels and stuff. And they've cut them off on how much they're allowed to even purchase.
Wow.
And I watched the CEO in this some type of meeting. I'd have to go back and I'll send it to you. Yeah. But basically he was standing up and he's like, look, we're being limited on what we can purchase. As this transfers over to our customers, you understand that when you're asking us to cut back 50% of our purchase, what that's going to do to the economy.
Yeah.
Like that means gas stations shut down. That means people losing jobs. That means, fuel prices going up even higher. I personally anticipate, I would see within the next 3 months, $7-8 for a gallon of gas.
Wow.
I think diesel will definitely be $10 a gallon within the next 3 to 6 months. Easy.
Wow. That's real world, like pain.
Oh yeah.
That's like, how do people make it? How do they survive that? I mean, even just getting basic, like from home to work is going to be a problem at that point.
Wait, you mean your $600 stimulus checks last year didn't help this?
Right.
You get what, a couple $600 stimulus checks, and then they raise everything by 20 to 50%.
Right.
You're paying for that stuff back now.
Right.
But yeah, we could definitely go down that rabbit hole, but I won't.
How do you feel? How do you feel about the overall temperature of the culture? Like, back when Trump was in office, there was a lot of, very vocal, very angry people, very willing to go and burn stuff down and stuff like that. Like, like this, I don't see that temperature being that way yet, but if it's $10 a gallon of gas, I mean, it has to get back to, the people that are working class people, the ones that usually put their head down and just go to work. They're going to lift their heads up and they're going to be the ones that need to be angry about that.
Right. Right now, social unrest, and this is obviously my opinion.
Yeah.
Social unrest is not needed. Yeah. That was all part of creating division, dividing people on whether it's race or political lines, whatever it was. Right. To me, that was all about separating people and dividing us.
That was an agenda from the left. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To lead us into an election that I personally believe was stolen.
Yeah.
But right now we don't need that. Yeah. All of our focus has been pushed towards, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. Yeah. And to me, if that's going on there, what are they taking our eyes from? Yeah. Because to me, all the social unrest was to take us away from, COVID was a distraction. The race riots and all that stuff was a distraction, every bit of it. So I don't think we have that division now because it doesn't meet their agenda at this point.
Yeah.
The next thing is, we're going to have the monkeypox, so
yeah. Crazy. What is this? I know, like, so this is just another thing like COVID's going to be, this monkeypox thing. Like, what do you know about that?
I've not really looked into it.
I've seen headlines.
Yeah.
I've just seen headlines.
To me, it's just so ridiculous. It's like at this point, I don't care. I'm living in my camper down by the river,
right? And
it's me and my dogs. I'm gonna eat my TV dinner at night and watch Hulu and smile. I'm waiting for unless it's knocking at my door, I'm not getting involved with it. That's kind of the mindset I've been in lately.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think the whole monkeypox thing is, to me, it's what else?
What else?
Yeah. Really?
So they're just trying to line something else out there that we need to get a shot for.
Yeah. I think, by 2023, we went from a flu started by bats to now we have a rash started by monkeys. I kind of feel like maybe alien invasion should be by 2023, 2024. Because, they actually, they had a Senate hearing about UFOs.
Wow.
Last week.
Did not know that.
Look it up, dude. It's crazy. They had a Senate hearing about UFOs. So just wait. I mean, all of it, it's stupid, man. What's next?
Right.
It's like we're living in the Twilight Zone.
Very much so. I think there's still new variants of COVID going around. There's just not anybody reporting on them.
I would agree with that. Yeah. But it's called allergies.
Yeah.
What I had a couple of weeks ago,
what I'm going through.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole allergies illusion. Cause and to me, it's nothing that hasn't been around forever. It's just now we got to apply COVID to it.
Yeah.
I teach martial arts and, look, see,
wow.
This is real life.
That's crazy. That's NPR.
Yeah. This
May
is real
17th.
Life.
Wow. 400 reported incidents.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, what's next? I mean, if monkeys can give us a rash and bats can give us a flu, I mean,
right.
I'm waiting for, my alien abduction,
right.
Let's go. But,
that's hilarious.
To me, the idea of, alien invasion would that would actually make sense why some of the people believe the way they believe in this country. There's no way any rational human could believe the way some people believe. So right. That makes sense to me. Yeah. I'll go with it.
Yeah. Can't argue it, especially with NPR reporting it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't know, man. It's just a weird time to be alive. It's just such a wild, society's crumbling, Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, all these high value men can't keep a woman. What kind of chance we got?
I gave up.
Yeah. I mean, it's just being a man in this culture right now feels like the most challenging thing, We're the only things not protected. We're the only things, that seem to be not valuable to this culture.
The worst thing you could be in America right now is a Caucasian, straight man.
Yeah.
And you throw conservative in there and Christian or any, we can keep adding on, but that's the basis of it.
Yeah.
If you're a male who identifies as male.
Yeah.
And, you're Caucasian and you're straight. I mean, then the cards are stacked against you.
So let's talk about all that.
Oh Lord.
Being in the New River Valley. Let's talk about that being all of that here. How do you feel about all that? It's as far as you probably, I mean, I know you're keeping your head down probably in every aspect, but I think I know enough about you that, you would like a good woman in your life, I want a good woman in my life. How do you feel about the dating pool here in the New River Valley?
The dating pool, needs a few drops of chlorine.
Yeah.
It needs to be cleaned out. Someone has definitely urinated in the dating pool. I looked into it for a while. I was sitting and talking to you, and you're like, "Hey, try online dating." No, there's some weird people.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's some very sweet people out there, but I get some weird messages. The second I put out that, hey, I'm divorced, and it's weird, the people who message, and I don't even know if I want you to play this, but I had one girl even try to rob me.
Oh yeah.
Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, you told me about that.
I tried to go out with a couple of different girls. One girl tried to rob me. That was new. And it's weird. In 2022, women are very, very forward. And it's weird. I don't know. You see women want a good guy, but when you actually present them with what is a good guy, that no, they don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird.
I quit trying. I'm like, I gave it up.
Yeah.
I tried it for like a month.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough for me.
Right.
That's enough. I give up.
So you're just going to go do your own thing, get back to your purpose, like whatever happens, whatever happens.
I've really been focusing a lot more. I've gotten a little more on my martial arts stuff. And I've really been focusing a lot on music. I've gotten back into, that used to be my, my source of income.
Yeah.
It used to be my thing. And I've gotten away from that because I got away from it for the purpose of, chasing other sources of income and trying to diversify a little bit.
Yeah.
And really music got to the point that it was more business and less pleasure. Yeah. And so now I'm slowly finding the pleasure in music again. I've been writing again and playing more. I'm actually leading worship at a church in North Carolina now.
I've seen that down in Mount Airy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A really cool church down there. And so I'm leading worship there and just kind of trying to get back into the music thing. So most of my evenings are spent alone, listening to music and practicing and trying to rehone that skill that I walked away from for a while. And,
So you're putting your stuff back into more yourself, your passions, your purpose in life, and you're not really worried about trying to attract or collect, women or woman.
Yeah. There's no collection there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything I might have collected, I've dropped that off at the Goodwill. Yeah. Staying away from that.
Yeah.
Now don't get me wrong. I mean, as well as I do, I mean, if the right person ever came along, and I'm actually trying to kind of struggling with that. Like, there are people who believe like this person was created for me and they're my soulmate. Or is that really the case? Or is it that there is a pool or a plethora of people and you just got to work and make it happen with whoever.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah. I can't imagine that there's just one solely built person for another person. It's, we've run into each other in some way. We've connected in some way, and let's commit to being together and working on whatever we have to work on to be together and make it work and be happy. I think that's more likely.
Well, I believe God's definitely powerful enough to do that.
Yeah.
He can create two people, I believe that. The question is, is that the case? I think the problem is finding two people who are, on the same page about things and have the same vision and the same work ethic and the same, to push for the same vision at the same time.
Yeah.
Seems like
out of 7 billion people, like he places you in a certain area. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine that being a divine plan of, if he made one person for me, they're either dead or we just passed each other by and was too afraid to talk to each other.
I think you said that on my Facebook post.
Right.
Yeah. Like we missed each other or something. Right. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, God can do anything he wants to do. And I think, can that be the case for some people? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know in my life. I don't know. But I'm done trying.
Right.
But usually that's when God usually seems to work, is when we get
So if it crossed your path, then you would try to get back to work on it.
If it landed in my front yard with a neon sign attached to a meteor that just and with flashing lights,
right? This is it. This is it.
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah.
Until then, probably not.
Yeah.
Having somebody to go out and have dinner with is nice too, though.
Yeah.
But the problem is you can't find anybody like, hey, you want to go grab a bite to eat? And then either A, they're weird, or B, they start getting all up in their feelings. And, by the end of the night, they're talking about a future with you. And I'm like, I'm just talking about having dinner because I don't want to sit in a restaurant by myself and play with my phone. I want to have a conversation.
Hey, honestly, man, the way I feel about it, I feel like, what's the purpose of going and doing all the things that I've done, all the accomplishments that I've been able to accomplish, and go out here and build everything that I'm building and do everything that I'm doing if I have nobody to bring it home to, if I have nobody to share it with, if there's nobody that loves me at the end of the day, to bring the world to them, so to speak, I just feel it's going to be empty at the end of the day.
I think that's kind of man's struggle anyway, is because we're about leaving a legacy, right?
Yeah.
You know, what are you building all this for? Because one day when you die, you're not going to take it with you. So it's about leaving a legacy for the next generation, for the little Scott Bunn running around, right? Yeah. And so you got to have somebody in order to have that with.
Yeah.
For me, it's just about trust, though. You get burned enough.
Yeah.
You eventually stay out of the kitchen, away from the stove altogether.
Another issue with the Instagrams and the TikToks and all the social media platforms that we do play on our phones on all day is the access people have to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the trust and the loyalty are easily damaged.
Right.
I think,
Well, and you might get some hate comments on what I'm getting ready to say now, but it goes with men too. So I'm not knocking men out of this, but obviously, I date women, and all women I think have a little crazy in them.
Yeah.
Like it's just a matter of finding the one you can deal with that level of crazy, which I'm sure guys are the same way. I'm sure women feel the same way about guys. But it's just finding the one that you can mesh with that, but for me, it's the trust thing. It's like, I'm to the point now that I've got a very close knit group of people. Outside of that, I keep them all at arm's length.
Right. Yeah. And I do, I feel like, that's something in you that I want, that I'm trying to replicate, is like that deep, like me and you, like I feel like we have a deep rooted friendship. We'll be there for each other. If we call each other, we answer, we'll hear what we got to say. We'll try to give advice, we'll sit at the bar, drink a beer, talk about it face to face every once in a while. And, I need definitely more of that. I need like the circle of friends that you have, like I need more people to turn to,
right,
and like confide in. And you think after 500 transactions, after all the relationships I've developed in my business, that I'd have a little more deeper connection than I do, but I don't, And
I think we live in a world today that everything's so surface.
Yeah.
Because of the Facebooks and the Instagrams and all that, right. It's all about surface. It's about quantity over quality.
Yeah. And
I'm still very much about quality. I don't, I could care less about all the surface stuff. Just with my social media, you got 5,000 people on a Facebook, who cares?
Right.
Of that, I probably know 10% of them,
right?
500, right?
Yeah.
I personally know.
And of them, you only see like 25 of them running through the feed.
I was going to say it's about a 10%. So of the 5,000, I personally know about 500.
Yeah.
Of the 500, I actually interact with about 50. Of the 50, I'm actually friends with about 5.
Yeah. Right.
People who I really feel like I could pick up the phone and go, "Hey, I'm broke down the side of the road.
Yeah.
Can you come by and help me?"
Yeah.
But we live in a world where everything's very surface. And so Ashley and I, we moved away from here and moved to Nashville, Tennessee for a while.
Oh, yeah?
And I was working with a church out there doing music and had a couple record labels when I was doing the country thing. And the reason we moved back here was because out there, it's like everything was just so surface. Like there was no connection, no deep-rooted connections with people. And in a large city, in a place like Nashville where it's, 1.2 million, I think, in the greater Nashville area is the population. So we came back here where we actually had that, what I thought was a close-knit group of people.
Yeah.
And then what I've seen over what's transpired over the last few years is that, they were a little more surface than I thought. They just thought they had their hooks in a little bit deeper. And the way I've weeded it down is there's probably, 5. And unfortunately, most of those are spread out. My best friends, my absolute best friend lives in Georgia. Right. The people I trust, I got another one that's, he's between Florida and Tennessee, and I've got another one that's in, Pennsylvania. They're the people I really like. If I knew, and then of course you have your buddies that are close by.
Right.
I've got you. I got another buddy I ride motorcycles with when I'm not wrecking, and you got people like that are close by. But really finding the people that have your back, that's hard to find.
It is hard to find. So, I mean, I have like probably 4 people, 3 people here that, if I was hard up, I could call, I know they would answer. and they would be there for me if I needed them. I feel like that number should be a lot more. But see, the thing about it is too, is even those people like aren't in the same position in my life. Like me and you are in a similar position. We can go out on a Wednesday night if we decide to, like we don't have any obligations, women, children, anything like that. We can hit a bar or a restaurant sometime at a later hour than most people would go.
Right.
So that's the thing. That's a hard thing to find too, is available people that are in the same kind of boat in life that I am too. So that's really the struggle I see here is there's just not a lot of volume of opportunities. And the great opportunities are really hard to come by, even just friends.
Right. I'm a firm believer that your friends determine your future. So for me, I'm constantly looking for people who are above me.
Yeah.
People who are in positions. Hey, that's what I want in my life.
Yeah.
That's the type. That's where I want to be in 5 years.
Right.
Because what I don't want to be is hanging out with people who are where I don't want to be in. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's how I determine the people who I spend my time with and who I hang out with is this a quality person? Are they walking in their life where I want to be in the next 5 years? In a book I would highly recommend. I don't know why this just came to my mind, but I don't know if you ever read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah.
But it talks about that, how your friends are determining your future and stuff. But and it's the same thing. Even we're talking about the dating scene. For me, you see the hodgepodge of people, and I don't want somebody who I've got to bring up to a certain level. Not that I'm anything, but to me, somebody who's got their life together, and adding me to it is just is the icing or the sprinkles on the cake. I don't want to be the cake batter, and I don't want them to be that for me.
Yeah.
Like that's when I, like I said, two people have it together and then they're running for the same goal. But having the right people around you is key.
I mean, I'm truly a gambler. I truly believe like this community can provide everything that we need and everything that we're looking for, but that's a gamble, because of the goals I have set, like the woman that I would think that is, I'm worthy for and is worthy of me. I feel like this community has what we're looking for if we just put ourselves out there, which is a risk. Putting ourselves out there is frightening sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you can get exposed, you can embarrass yourself. I don't know. It's just risky business putting yourself out there in that way. And like them knowing that you're putting yourself out there,
right?
That you're interested in trying to connect with somebody.
It leaves you very vulnerable.
It does. And it's like, when they know that, it's like, it's that cat and mouse game. It's like, you're like the cat, you're trying to entice the cat to get the string. And as soon as you drop the string, it just is uninterested.
Right.
Like when they know that you're out there and you're interested, like they're not interested.
Yeah.
But when you're after your purpose and you're doing your thing and, like you're not focused on anything, but then they're like,
yeah. Yeah. The second you start chasing, and to me, I don't want to chase.
I don't either, really. I just want to be, I'm trying to make myself available,
right?
To be open to whatever's, whatever's after me or whatever's out there,
I think of it like this. If I've got to chase something, that means it's running from me.
Yeah. I'm trying to attract.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to attract.
Don't chase money, make money chase you.
Yeah.
Don't chase women, make women, you see what I'm saying? It's all the same. And if you have your eyes, I think, on the right thing and, you're focused and you're driven, then I think those things, we attract what we are chasing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if I'm chasing my goal or my that vision of where I want to be, then I think we naturally draw those type people.
Yeah. And, I've always, well, in the last, decade anyway, I've set my mind to something. I've created a plan. I've executed the plan and results have shown up. I feel like I'm trying to apply that to love. I'm trying to apply that to like developing a relationship and trying to find what I'm looking for in this community as far as like why I've done all this. You know, like
you got to factor in the human factor though.
Yeah.
That messes it all up.
Right.
Yeah. You throw somebody else in the mix, that messes it all up.
That's true. I mean, at the end of the day, I just feel like I've got to put my energy and effort behind my goals. And I can't believe in this Disney thing anymore of like, it's just magically going to happen. Ta-da. You know, like I don't subscribe to that anymore. That's been beaten out of me because I've been waiting. And
this is going to probably rile some people too, but I think for a long time, the Disney, vision has messed up a lot of relationships, you know, and
definitely,
and even dads who have told their daughters, "You're a little princess. You deserve," you know, no, your daughter's a human being who has the same rights and the same voice as any man, and you know she needs to bring something to the table, the same as the man is expected to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
You know, it's not up to Yes, you can be a prince and she can be a princess, but you accentuate each other's lives. You're not dragging each other to the castle. You know what I mean? Yeah. But just my opinion.
It's interesting. I mean, it's outside the box looking in. It's kind of entertaining.
Oh, it's very entertaining.
It's compelling. And like, I almost feel like if my life for the last year had been like the Kardashians, like, keeping up with the Kardashians, it would have been a hit TV show.
I've often wanted to like wear like a body cam and just live my normal life.
Right.
And just start posting it.
Right.
In like hour segments and seeing, seeing if I get like a Netflix, mini series or something, but yeah, no, I totally get it. But, and I'm at the point now, I got a birthday coming up Saturday.
Yeah.
And,
let's talk about that.
Well,
how old will you be? Tell us, be honest.
Older than I was the last birthday. But no, what I was saying is, I mean, I'm going to be 40.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole different realm. So when you're 40 years old and you're looking at this, it's like the pool gets even smaller.
Yeah.
And it's thicker with baggage. And, when you are a single guy and you don't have that, not saying I have a problem with, certain levels of baggage, as long as you're carrying it and you're not looking for, if you go to any of these dating, like I was on one of those dating websites for like a month, a couple weeks or whatever. And I just, the stuff you read, I just deleted it. I'm just deleting this off my phone. This is stupid. I'm looking for a dad for my, why are you looking for a dad for your kids? That is the dumbest thing you could ever,
Right.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But.
And that being that, in a town full of college kids.
Oh, that's the opposite end of the spectrum. That's just as bad.
Yeah. I'm just saying, being a 40-year-old man, single man in around 2 universities, trying to be social and go out and in these environments, you got to dodge all of those.
Yeah.
You got to dodge all of them.
Yeah, I stay away from that.
Even the 24-year-old grad students, that's not what they're looking for.
Yeah.
That's like, and you're just wasting your time.
Yeah. The one that tried to rob me was 26. She asked me out. I'm like, yeah, I'll go have dinner with you. And then she tried to rob me. But there's crazies. There's definitely some crazies. So I don't know. Like I said, I never thought I would be at this point in my life going through this, but here I am, and you're kind of, you're
39.
Yeah, you're right there with me, man. Yeah.
I'll be 40 in January. So, but I do think that what we bring to the table is pretty valuable. I think, we both got our stuff together. We can go and hunt as far as finances go, look at you with your little blingy watch, like I think we have plenty to offer. It's just, can we find somebody that values it?
Well, and find somebody here, when you're looking at someone who's, between the ages of say 35 and 40, if we just hone in on that area, what I've also learned is you have a lot of people who have gone out and lived their lives, females now, and I'm sure it's the same way women looking at the men's market, who've gone out and lived their lives and they've given of themselves freely, but then all of a sudden they want to settle down with a good guy. I'm sorry, but I don't want that. I don't. That's not a female I want in my life.
Yeah. I think most men are in their mental, physical, financial, pretty much all over peak between the ages of 32 and 40.
Are you saying I'm coming out of my peak, bro? Come on.
I'm just saying,
hurt my feelings.
I'm just saying that's like that's our peak conscious.
Can we push the peak up to like 45?
All right, we'll go to 45.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if I'm saying that about you, I'm saying that about me too, But, 38 for me was my absolute best year.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I trimmed down to 165. I had earned crazy money that year.
Right.
I feel like I'm going to replicate that. I'll be able to replicate that for a while. But in my physical state of feeling good, looking good, earning good, like all of that stuff, I'm going to be very selfish in what I take on and what I'm looking for. And I'm going to do that for the opportunity to be selfless.
Right.
To give what I've got to give.
Absolutely.
And be what I want to be. And, because if I think I settled at that point, yeah, I'm never going to give them everything I have. And I'm always going to be resentful at the end of the day. I'm going to be like, nah, it was a safe bet. I'm going to ride out a nice life. But if something else comes along, am I going to be respectful to that relationship?
Right.
Probably not,
See, I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum, not disagreeing with you, but for me, I don't want to think that I've peaked already.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, I'm coming into 40 on Saturday, so we're only like 4 days away.
Yeah.
Honestly, I can say I've accomplished everything I've ever set out to accomplish.
Nice.
In the martial arts world, at one point, I owned 7 martial arts schools. I was head of my own martial arts organization. The American Martial Arts League was mine. I've won world titles in it and stuff. In music, I've been with record labels. I've been on stage with a number, George Jones and Gretchen Wilson, Confederate Rail, Neil McCoy, a number of these guys that you hear on the radio, and where most people would think, oh man, I'd love to be there. And that's as far as I've ever attempted to go. But I don't want to feel like I've peaked in my life. I want to think what's next is going to be even better, because if I think that I've already peaked, then that doesn't make tomorrow look very exciting. So
sure.
I'm hoping that my peak is tomorrow, and tomorrow I'm going to hope my peak's the next day. And
well, I mean, obviously, as far as financials go, you're going to start accumulating and putting back a lot more in this next decade and a half of your life. But as far as the dating pool goes, after a certain age, the 25 to 30s are going to look at us a little different after 40, I think, so we had to be that much more valuable. We had to.
I've got a completely different theory. That just makes me think of something. I got a completely different theory when it comes to women who date men who are over 15 years older or 15 years younger.
Yeah.
Like those, I would never want a woman that young.
Yeah.
Because the way that I know that they would be looking at me, we're not going to go into that. But, I watch, there's this one podcast called Entrepreneurs in Cars.
Yeah.
You need to check it out. It's super cool. But, so I watch and listen to a lot of that, but I've got a theory when it comes to, women who date men who are more than 15 years older or like 12 to 15 years younger than them.
Yeah.
The mindset of those women and their insecurities. They're either looking for a free ride, or they're so insecure about who they are that, and their own age of getting older, like say a 40-year-old woman who's dating a
25-year-old man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're totally scared of getting old So they're trying to hold on to that youth by, I still got it because I got this young man. Get real. Because in 5 years, you ain't going to have that guy, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know. So I've got my own theories there. So for me, I don't even know, like age wise, I'm not looking for anything, period. If it shows up, it shows up. If it doesn't,
I just got something in my head that I think that most women between the ages of 25 and 30 are reaching, you know, to the point in their life that they've made some decisions on their life path. They're starting to earn money. They're starting to decide on what they want.
They're stepping into that professional level.
They've been into enough relationships where they know what they like, they know what they don't like, they know what they want. They're ready to make some decisions on a relationship and a life. They're their peak they're their peak physically for having children,
right?
You know, so that's my theory behind why I'm interested in that age group right now,
right?
Because I want the best possible outcome for my children,
right?
And I want her to be healthy after children.
Makes sense.
I want her to be able to bounce back. You know, and that's vanity, right? But I want her to be strong enough physically to eliminate what's going to happen to her body after children.
Right.
So that's why I'm into that kind of age group.
Now, if this was, you know, 100, 150 years ago, it's a different ballgame altogether.
Yeah.
You know, older men with younger women was a normal thing.
Right.
But I think in today's world,
I still think it is. I think 40-year-olds are getting with 25-year-olds every day.
That scares me.
Yeah.
That scares me though.
I'm just saying that age group, that 5-year age group window is getting with men that can like.
But I don't think we have, society is not mature like it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, whereas, you know, 150 years ago, a 25-year-old woman they were at their peak, right? They were kind of starting on the downward slope.
But honestly, because they had already been married with children, because in that time frame, they were getting married at 20, 21.
Yeah.
You know?
Or younger.
Yeah.
I mean, kids who are getting married at 14, 15, 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, but there was a level of maturity that was there. You know, I think about like my grandparents. You know, my grandmother got married, I think, when she was 16. To my grandpa, who was 19, and they were married until, you know, 1982 when my grandmother died. You know,
see, that doesn't exist anymore.
No,
that doesn't. That, you know, and that's the downfall of the culture.
Yeah.
Really, you know, you took those vows in front of God and your family, and you honored them until death, and that was it. And you had 3 or 4 or 5 kids. You know,
they had 8.
Exactly.
8 kids.
Exactly. That's unheard of. If this culture has 3 kids now, whoa, that's a lot. 3 kids is a lot. I mean, like 1 kid, like that's really all I care about. Like just so I know I've survived. You know, just boy, girl, doesn't matter. As long as my blood's passed on, boom. I got something out there that's mine.
I think you and I've talked about this. I've got a little brother. I'm hoping he carries that.
Oh, you did say that. And I told you, like, you know, people back in the day died to keep your bloodline alive. And for you not to continue on is just like, it's kind of a waste.
Maybe. But I also think about society, man. The world we live in is not the same as what my grandfather, he was a master sergeant in the Army. He fought in World War II. He was part of that greatest generation. He's a guy that, you know, worked 3 or 4 jobs and raised 8 kids. And my grandmother didn't work. You know, she stayed
Look at
home.
what they sacrificed.
Yeah.
Look at what they sacrificed.
They believed in something, and, you know, and you didn't hear, and not knocking PTSD or any of that stuff, but they came home and went back to life. Yeah. It wasn't none of this, I can't function. They came home from World War II and they went back into life, and they raised families, and, you know, we have a different society altogether. They had something that, you know, stepping into out of the 40s into the 50s, the world still was or America still was that, you know, Mayberry front porch sitting, you know, kind of a mentality. Yeah. And something happened, I think, in the 60s and the 70s that kind of shifted things, and we just don't have that society no more. So for them to pass something on, the world looked good. You know, for right now, I look at it going, man, I don't know. I'm waiting, you know, what's next? You know, like, is it going to be alien invasions in 2023? Or, you know, for me, I'm thinking, you know, I think we're on the verge of World War III. I honestly do.
Yeah. So if I think China wants to invade Taiwan or something crazy like that. So who knows, man? But at the end of the day, if you don't create, like I told you this, like look at your value set, look at like what you could pass on, look at what that possibility. You just never know. One person could change it all.
You're right.
You know, and I'm just saying, like, I just feel like I'm gonna put this out there. Like, I am a believer of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but the only way we know here on earth, if you don't have that faith to survive, is to create.
Right.
And that's to have children.
Right.
So like,
well, that's a commandment from God. He said, be fruitful and multiply. It's the very first commandment in the Bible. He told Adam, be fruitful and multiply. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
So in my mind, I have questions. I want to die and go to heaven.
Right.
But the only way you truly know that you're going to leave something back here on earth is to create something.
Right.
And like a lot of people create works of art. A lot of people create music or whatever, books, whatever. Like I would much rather have blood flowing of mine than anything else.
No, I totally get it. And I agree.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Because for me to do that means I have to trust somebody again. You got to dive back into that murky water of the dating pool.
That's true.
I got something. This is a tweet from Elon Musk earlier today. It's just talking about the fertility rate of women in the U.S. right now, and it's at an all-time low, as you can see right here.
Wow.
So in order for a generation to replace another generation, the average child rate of a woman in the U.S. would need to be 2.1, and we haven't seen that since like the mid-2000s.
And I think this is a global effort. I think this is a global effort to depopulate our community. It's just to depopulate the earth, really.
All right, well, let's jump back into conspiracy theories. I wonder how much of this has to do with what we're ingesting. You know, like the COVID vaccine, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, people who are having, fertility issues due to the COVID vaccine. Like, what are we ingesting that's causing this to happen?
Yeah. I think they only want people. I mean, I think at the end of the day, they only want people with means to be able to create. Which with in vitro and all these steroids and things that they got to pump you with to even conceive a child. Right. They want only people that have money. I mean, a lot of people without money are having children still, but they don't want that. They don't want this welfare going to just anybody. You know, they want to eliminate that, I would think. So, that was a great thing to put up there. I mean, that just proves that there's been an effort to decline the population.
Well, I mean, some of your biggest movers and shakers in the world are all about the depopulation of the world. And what is it they believe that the world should only have? It's less than a billion people. It's like 700 and some, like I can't remember. It's like 750 million people is like what they think it should be or something like that. Yeah. Well, that's like 10% of what it actually is. So I mean, that's a major, something's got to happen.
Right.
Maybe monkeypox is it.
Wow. I'm interested to track that stuff and see like how that goes. That's going to be wild.
Are you going to get your monkeypox vaccine?
I'm not.
Well, you got to quarantine for 2 weeks if you get the pox. But all that stuff's coming. And I think it's just going to get worse. Back to what we were talking about with, food shortages and stuff. Man, have you noticed like the number of food distribution plants across the country that's just caught fire?
Caught fire, or all their chickens died or something? Yeah.
Tell me this stuff isn't planned.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's hard not to be a conspiracy theorist when everything that is called conspiracy is
coming true.
Yeah, it's what's happening.
Yeah.
You're not a conspiracy theorist at that point. It's what's going on.
Right.
And if people aren't seeing it, man, their heads are stuck so far in the sand, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm a firm believer we're on the verge of a World War III. I think that, our eyes have been taken and focused on Russia and Ukraine, and I think it's gaslighting, you know, what's going on over here with China and Taiwan. I think that's going to be a big player here in the next. But ultimately, China and Russia have one common enemy, and that's the U.S.
Yeah,
and I think we're going to see some major you know issues in the next. I'm going to say.
Did you see the issue with the wheat supply?
Say again.
Did you see the issue with the wheat supply?
Oh yeah, like 10%, like 10% of the wheat is gone, pretty much.
We only have 10 weeks of wheat supply left in the world.
Oh wow,
Wow.
I have art for it.
time to get our bread.
Yeah. I guess. Well, think about it. I think the average shelf life of food in any supermarket is like 4 hours. And you think, well, that can't be right. How's that? But if you think about this, so let's say you go into work at 8 a.m. and they call for a huge snowstorm, and you want to leave work at lunchtime. By the time you go to Walmart or whatever, you know, Food City, wherever you go buy your groceries, half of the milk and bread's gone because everybody got to have milk sandwiches, right?
Right.
Because it's snowing. So think about it. If a real disaster happened, how fast
Everything would be gone.
the shelves would be cleared out.
Yeah.
And if people aren't preparing for this stuff, I mean, like that, I had no clue the 10-week supply, and the whole diesel shut down. You know, if diesel's $10 a gallon, which it's already, I think the national average for diesel is like, it's well over $5. Every morning, one of the first things I do is I Google what the national average for fuel prices are for the day.
Yeah.
Just to see. I actually have a bet with a guy. I told him by mid-June, national average is going to be $5 a gallon. He's like, there's no way. And I saw every day I'm watching, you know, so I want to win my $100. It's going to cost me more than gas.
You're going to need that $100.
Yeah.
He can Venmo you.
Yeah. You can't drive to get it. But I think all that is in play. I think it's about, if you want to go super conspiracy, it's about creating that Agenda 2030, you know, collapsing the first world, you know, systems and putting us all on a one world, you know, system, one world government, one world financial, one world medical, you know, all that I think is in play. But once again, that's my tinfoil hat talking.
Yeah. I could see a scenario where that's happening. I mean, that's clearly their goal. I mean, they're saying it to us out loud. So
I wonder at what point people are going to, like, we have this mindset. We've never, yes, we've had the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, and some of us, you know, you're probably old enough to remember. Well, I'm sure you are. When I was little, you're the same age as me. We sit and watch the first Persian Gulf War on TV, and you know, I'd watch all the live, you know, stuff. I had an uncle who was there, so I was really interested in that. But we've never truly felt, you know, 9/11 happened, yeah, and everybody kind of stopped, it paused everybody, but it was like a quick bounce back, and now there's a whole generation of people that didn't experience that. You know, they don't know. People who are graduating high school now, they
weren't alive.
Yeah, they didn't experience that. They don't know what it was like. So there's a whole generation of America that's never truly experienced pain or heartache or experienced loss. And if you think about it, you and I really haven't. Yeah. You know, we were born in 1982 or 1983, whatever. Yeah. And, you know, we've never really experienced true pain, true heartache, like generations before us have experienced. And I think that, you know, we've kind of got this mindset that America's untouchable. And that's not the case. Yeah. You know, I think we're hanging by a thread. We're teeter-tottering on the edge.
We're as weak as we've been in a really long time.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're as divided and we're weak politically. Yeah. I mean,
the leadership of the country is just the weakest it could be.
What leadership?
Exactly.
I mean, we got a guy that can't put 4 words together to make a sentence.
Right.
You know, and we call him a president.
Right.
The only person who is less qualified to be president of the United States is the vice president of the United States.
Right.
That's, I mean, what are we looking at right now as a country? And we are the laughing stock of the world. Yeah. You know, I've got opportunities to go and do work in other countries. I'm afraid to leave the country right now. Yeah. I'm very scared to up and leave because I'm like, will I get back? What's the, you know, what's everything going to look like? Right. That's why I camper by the river.
No doubt.
With my dogs.
I might need a room in the camper by the river.
I got 2 queen beds.
Right on. Well, man, I think that's a good ending point, man. I appreciate the conversation. It's always entertaining talking to you. It's always fun, just kicking it. You guys need 1,000 subscribers still. Like if you're consuming this on any other platform but YouTube, go to YouTube, subscribe there for us if you don't mind. And we appreciate your support. And we'll see you next time.